What according to you is software testing?
Software testing as in checking if it's giving the correct output or giving the required inputs.
Fantastic. So in the SDLC, if you notice something, once the product is ready, before it is handed over to the client, thorough testing on the application will have to be done in-house.
Yeah.
Now, why is that done? Is to ensure quality. Is to ensure that the product that is handed over to the client is of highest quality. We can't give the client a defective product.
Yes.
Products with lot of defects. We cannot do it that way. And hence, before handing it over to them, we must identify if there are any defects. If there are defects, it will have to be fixed, and only after that it will have to be handed over to the client. That is exactly what the testing team does. There would be a dedicated team, you might know, because you worked with an IT firm, Infosys, before, so you must know. You must have worked with testers also, isn't it?
Yeah, I've done it myself. So.
Okay. Each of us do. We can't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've done it. Everybody has to do it. So testing, at least manual testing, they would have done at some stage or the other. So created something, you would have created a functionality, you would have developed a functionality, and then it would have gone to the testing team. The testing team would have done thorough testing, and if they identify any defects, it will be sent back to you because you are the developer who created it, and you will have to fix it and send it back to them. They'll have to retest, and only after that it will be sent to the client.
Yes.
So the team that ensures quality is nothing but the testing team.
Yeah.
Okay. So why I've made it clear in the past why we need to know testing. We need to learn testing as part of this BA training. It is for the fact that every important activity that is done by the testing team must be approved by the business analyst. Might be not in the case of a service-based project, but definitely in a product-based project, BA must approve everything, every important activity that's done by the testers. If we have to approve something, we need to know what it is, isn't it? And that's exactly why we need to know a little bit about testing also. If you have to approve the work that is done by the testers, if we have to validate what is done by the testers, if we have to identify whether the kind of work they have done is correct or not, if we have to comment, if we have to review, if we have to validate, if we have to approve, we must know what testing is all about. And hence, this topic. Clear? Objective, main objective. Definition, it is nothing but an investigation done on the product. Why is it done? It is done to provide the stakeholders the information about the quality of the product. Isn't it? So it is to make sure that the stakeholders are aware of the quality of the product, and that's why this investigation is done on the product. Okay. Now, what is the objective? The primary objective is to ensure quality. How is quality ensured? By thorough testing. By thorough testing, how is quality assured? Because while testing, there will be certain bugs or defects or errors that would be identified, and in case they are identified, they will have to be fixed. And by fixing, quality is improved. So primary objective of any kind of testing that's done on a product or an application or a service or whatever, on a software application, the primary objective is to ensure quality. Now, having said that, there are two ways of testing primarily. One is positive software testing, and the other is negative software testing. Now, to understand testing, let's take the example of Gmail into consideration.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me show you Gmail first. Now you can see my screen?
Yeah.
You can. Here, if I have to log into Gmail, I'll have to enter a valid email ID and a password. Let's say my intention is to test whether this is fine or not. These options are fine or not. That is the objective. To test Gmail login screen. Okay.
Yes.
Now, first thing I do is I have to enter an email ID. Now I am telling about positive testing. Positive testing is nothing but passing data that the system always expects. System would expect certain data, and certain data it would not expect. Now,
Yes.
how does the system behave when that expected data is passed, and how would the system behave when that unexpected data is passed? That is what is positive and negative testing.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what the system expects, what does this Gmail login screen expect from me is to enter a valid email ID.
Yeah.
Right? Now, if I have to explain you testing, I will have to do this. If they have a problem, all I need to do is click sign in.
Yeah.
This email ID is a valid email ID, and this password is the right password, and I click sign in, it takes me to my inbox.
Yeah.
Right? Instead, I have entered an invalid. Now, how is the system behaving when I enter a valid mail ID and a password? It takes me to the inbox screen.
Yeah.
It anticipated a good, correct, positive data from me, and that's what I provided, and hence, without any difficulty, the system takes me to the login screen. That is positive testing. How does the system behave when expected data is passed? Now, in the second instance, I would pass an incorrect data. I am passing the right password, but an incorrect email ID. Now, see what the system says. Email or password you entered is incorrect. This is the expected behavior. The moment I enter an invalid email ID, the system must throw this error, and the error is nothing but email or password you entered is incorrect. System doesn't always anticipate this kind of data. So how would the system behave when expected data is passed and when unexpected data is passed? That is nothing but positive and negative software testing. Clear?
Okay.
Now let's take our FSD into consideration. Let's extend this to our application. Now remember cancel payments. You also had written a document, FSD document on cancel payment.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now cancel payment process screen. It's a process screen, isn't it?
Yes.
On that process screen, what are the inputs that you will have to pass? Any user will have to pass. Remember,
Portfolio code.
Fantastic, portfolio code.
And
Now,
group code.
with respect to portfolio code field, what would be expected data and what would be unexpected data? Can you tell me?
The correct portfolio code.
Exactly. And an incorrect portfolio code.
Yeah.
Correct portfolio code would be positive, incorrect portfolio code would be negative. If correct portfolio code is entered, how should the system behave?
It should display the message of canceling the payment.
Not really, but it must go to the next tab without throwing any error.
Yeah.
That's how the system is designed. If it's incorrect data, it must throw an error and not allow the user to go to the next tab. Or throw an error, the user can still go to the next tab, but it doesn't make any sense. You will not be able to run the process unless that error message is fixed. Okay, so that's negative testing. How is the system reacting? Is it throwing an appropriate error or not? That's what we need to test.
Yes.
Share with positive testing and negative testing.
Yeah.
White box testing.
Yeah.
White box testing, these are different testing techniques. White box testing will take into consideration the internal logic or the structure of the code. The testers will consider the internal code or the structure of the code into consideration while they perform their testing.
Yes.
Okay. Now they will sit with the developers and try to understand what kind of an impact each chunk of code would have on the system or the application. With respect to that, they would carry out their testing. That is called as white box testing. If I have to give you an example, cancel closing fee, cancel payment again. Okay, let's stick to cancel payment for now. Now, because of running this process, what would happen in the back end is that if the process is run successfully, you remember cancel flag will have to be checked on the screen. Once the process is run, the cancel flag will have to be checked in all respective screens.
Yes.
If that has to happen, when will the cancel flag be checked on the screen is only when in the database cancel flag column is made as white. You know it, right? You know all of this. I need not tell you. So whatever we see on the UI will have to be a result of the backend.
Yeah.
Right. And one more thing, Nick. So SQL a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
You are aware of it, right? You must be knowing better than me.
No, no, not better, but because it has been a long time. But yeah, I do remember stuff.
But I'm sure that as a developer, what was your platform, by the way? As a developer,
When,
what did,
well, I did learn all these things, as in I did, because like in Infosys training for 5.5 months, I was taught all the languages, like
okay.
each
But
and
when you
every
started
one
working, what was
thoroughly.
the platform?
When I was working on Citrix.
Citrix, okay.
Yes, I was in infrastructure management and support team.
Oh, okay. You were in
So
infrastructure.
I was a Citrix admin.
Citrix admin. Okay.
Yeah.
Good, good.
So after I started working, I didn't have to deal much with the codes. But then, like, there was a bit of VB scripting which my senior used to do. So I
See,
used to have
normally,
interest in that.
why I'm asking you about database knowledge is normally when I do this BA training,
Yeah.
I include a little bit for beginners who have absolutely no knowledge on SQL. I
Yes.
show them how a SQL screen would look like, and the most
Yes.
simplest query is what I will show them. How
Okay.
to retrieve data from the database using the most simplest query.
Yes.
That is what I would normally tell, because beyond that I'm also not aware, because I'm
Okay.
completely a non-technical person.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
Yeah.
purely
I
functional.
guess I guess I will be able to understand those easily.
So that's what I'm going to skip that then for you.
Okay. I've even learned this thing, the white box testing and black box testing before.
Okay. But this is just a build-up to the actual
Yeah.
testing we're going to do in some time.
Yeah.
This is just a build-up, so this is okay. But this is
Yeah.
not going to take long also. But that I would give a background about what how database is linked to the UI, what is the relationship
Okay.
between
Yeah.
the UI
No.
and
No.
the database.
Yeah. That's fine.
So then I'm not going to do that for you, but instead that time we can utilize on some other thing. Okay.
Yeah.
So now this white box testing. Okay. So this what we see on the screen, the cancel flag being checked is the result of what happens in the backend.
Yeah.
Cancel underscore flag. The cancel underscore flag is a column in a particular table. Okay. And only if that column is set to Y, the cancel flag on the screen will be checked. If it is N, it will be unchecked. Now, tester, how will the tester know about all this? Only if he sits with the developer and understands the stored procedure. He has to sit with the database developer, okay, and
Yeah.
understand how the stored procedure is written, understand what is the impact on the screen, and then identify this. So they will test. They will also test if the cancel underscore flag is here is a Y or N. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
if it is Y in the DB and if it is unchecked in the on the screen, something is wrong, right? It
Yeah.
is Y in the DB, but it is not checked on the UI. It means it is a Java issue.
Yes.
It's fine in the DB. It did what it is supposed to do. It did update the cancel flag status as Y, but though it is Y, it is not getting checked there on the screen. It means it's a Java issue. If the UI is done on Java.
UI. Yeah.
Right? Now,
Yes.
tester will actually go and test the DB and give that screenshot and put it as a document and then show this is what I've done as part of my white box testing. I did look into the code as well. I did consider the code also while performing my actual testing. So their testing will be on the internal logic and the structure of code. That's white box testing. Now black box testing. This is I don't care about the code.
Yeah.
Whether the flag is Y or N in the DB, I'm least bothered. For me, once I run the process, cancel payment process, cancel flag must get updated in the screen. That is all what matters.
Yes.
I really don't worry whether that cancel flag is Y or N, or if it is null or if it is 0, if it is negative, if it is positive. I really don't bother. That is not for me to worry. That is for the developers to take care. It's not my piece of cake.
Yeah.
Cup of tea. So that's black box testing. Merely looking at it from a functional point of view.
Yes.
And not looking into the code, looking at the code. That's black box. There are different levels. I'm not going to go too deep into all of this because
I have learned all this.
unit testing. Soon as the
Yeah,
developers
that's a small part of the code.
exactly. You know all this. I'm going to
Yeah.
skip.
Yeah, that's fine.
Sanity, smoke, regression, acceptance, functional, non-functional.
Yeah, I have done all this in the past.
Regression, you know, right? Any code, any new functionality is going to be a major change of code, isn't it?
Yes.
It has to be a major change of code, or if we are adding a new functionality or an enhancement, you have to add a piece of code to the existing code.
Yeah.
It could be small or it could be big.
Yeah.
But it does have an impact. For example, to introduce cancel payment process, code would have been new code would have been added to the existing one. Okay.
Yeah.
And that might have an impact on payments inquiry, invoice status, and invoice payment. 3 areas are impacted. So when we are actually testing cancel payment, it is why we are testing it. It is because it is a new functionality. But that must not be the only thing that we are going to test. We must also test the impacted areas, because the code is impacting the other areas as well. So that's regression testing. Going backwards, identifying the impact, identifying the impacted areas, and then finding out and performing testing on those impacted areas is nothing but regression. Sanity, all of this. Functional, check the functionality, check the requirement, test the requirement. Non-functional, I have told you the performance and lead, other load and other stuff. Remember, Tatkal, IRCTC. So that load testing. Load testing, again, it can be done manually, but in nowadays, load testing is hardly done manually. We have load runner tool. We have rational software that provides good tools for load testing and for performance testing also. There are few tools, I guess. I'm not too sure of it. So performance is to identify how long it takes for a process to run, how long it takes for the system to react. That's a non-functional requirement. Functional testing is merely testing it from a functional point of view.
Yeah.
Having understood the background, let us try to again, without showing this, I normally give this as an example, but without Gmail, what am I going to, in whichever mail you use the least, please open that mail.
Yeah. So you can see the screen now, right? Sorry.
Yes, I can. So you need to go to the inbox.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now see, this is the Gmail inbox screen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. If you are asked to test this screen, okay, what are some of the most important items that would come to your mind that you would feel is important for you to test me? So the objective is to test this inbox screen. Okay, you are on your landing page. The moment you type in your username and password, it takes you to this screen.
Yeah.
Once you land on this screen, if you are as a tester, if you are the tester who's been assigned this task, if you are asked to test the Gmail inbox screen, what are the most important things that would come to your mind and that would that you would want to test?
Well, like basically after looking at the screen, I would feel like testing a lot of stuff, but with going with just the important part, like important part as in referring to as a mailbox, I would prefer the functionality of reading and writing the emails as the most priority. Yeah.
And how do you do that?
So the first thing is like the click on, like all the mails should pop up correctly when they are sent.
So first,
so I'll use another email to.
So first thing, let's make it pretty fast. So first thing that you are saying is to test whether you are able to send and receive mail, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, fantastic. Point taken. What is the second thing?
Second thing, once I send the mail, I should be able to open the mail and read it.
Send and receive mail over. Everything is covered as well.
Okay. So even creating an email is also covered.
Covered. Send and receive. If you have to send, you have to create. So that's obvious. What else?
Okay, then maybe the list of emails which should appear.
Then it has to appear here only, right? Where else will it appear?
Yeah, as in the amount of mails that should appear along with the time.
Okay, those are less important, I would say. When those are okay. Other than that, what else?
Search box.
Fantastic. Search box. Okay. Second one. So first is send and receive mail. Second is the search box. Okay. Point taken. Third one. Let's say chat. You need to chat with your friends. That's also one of the important reasons why you would use your Gmail or Gtalk, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's say these three are the important things that will have to be tested as part of this. Now these three in testing terminology will be called test scenarios.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Most important items at a high level, the most important items that will have to be tested as part of that entire testing activity is would be called as test scenarios. When you have to test this inbox screen, those three important things that will come to your mind would be send and receive mails. The next thing is to be able to use the search box, and the third would be to be able to chat with your contacts.
Yeah.
So these are three important things.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, first, send and receive. To send a mail, what would you do? What are the steps? I'm asking you, what is the step-by-step procedure that you would follow to send a mail?
Okay.
I'm
First
asking
the
you
button click.
Yeah.
First the button click
Fantastic.
on the compose. Yeah.
That's
and
the first step.
then
Step number
it should
one.
open the appropriate window with appropriate contents on it to type,
Okay. Okay.
as in the two box, the subject line and the
Okay.
other.
Pop-up window.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the first like the two part should be able to accept
Fantastic.
details
Okay,
in the
point
mail.
taken. Next one.
The subject is fine, it's just a text box. The
Point
other
taken
part
again.
will be to have the other functionalities which would be linked properly.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and then on the send, and then the function of the send button.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Done.
And once it's done, it should be either going to the outbox or the sent mail
Fantastic.
box. Yeah.
Fantastic. Absolutely fine. No problem at all. So whatever you have just told would be called as test steps.
Yeah.
In the test scenario.
Yes.
I'm just trying to explain you what is a test scenario and what are test steps.
Okay.
Now,
Yeah.
to test a particular scenario, you need to come up with steps, isn't it? Without these steps, how will you test whether you're able to send mail or not? Your test scenario is to test whether you're able to send mail. Now, in order to test that, you need to follow these steps, namely clicking the compose button, checking if a pop-up window is opening up or not, and then checking whether you are able to type something in the to option, in the to field, and subject and the body, and checking other options like attaching the file, attaching the picture, attaching the other things, and then clicking send, and then checking your sent mail. These are the steps that will constitute that particular test scenario, isn't it, Neil?
Yes.
Now you're able to make out the difference between what is test scenario and what are test steps.
Yeah.
Against each test step, there must be an expected result. If clicking, compose, right? Clicking compose will have an expected result.
Yes.
If you click compose, what do you expect? You expect a pop-up window to come out.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the expected result. For every step, there would be an expected result. For to field, there would be an expected result. If you say test step is to check the to field, the expected result is that you must be allowed to type something in you must be allowed to type text in the to field. That's the expected result. So for every test step, there would be an expected result. Once you click send, the expected result is that the mail should have got sent and it must go to the sent mail folder. That's the expected result once you click send, isn't it? So what I'm trying to convey is the fact that for every test case there would be an expected result. Now the actual testing would be to follow those test steps and actually perform what those tests tell you and check whether the actual result when you are performing testing is matching with your expected result or not. If it is matching, it's fine. If it's not, it's an issue. When you click compose, the expected result is that a pop-up window should come up where you can type your content and send a mail. That's the expected result. So the test step says click compose tab. Against that test step, the expected result would be a pop-up window must get opened.
Yes.
Okay. You are the tester, you are following the test steps that are there in the document. You open, you click compose, and then you find that there is no pop-up window that's coming up. So the actual result, what you will mention in the actual result is that no pop-up window opens up. So there is a mismatch between the expected result and the actual result. So there is an issue, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that will be sent back to the developer. If the expected result doesn't match with the actual result,
yeah,
it will be sent to the developer. Before it's sent to the developer, it's sent to the BA.
Yes.
Because the BA will have to validate if it is actually a defect or not.
Yeah.
Now, the tester has done certain things and he's found an issue. Now the BA will have to check if the tester has done it properly or not. So sometimes when they click compose, maybe sometimes they would have clicked compose and they would have come back to a different screen, and then unknowingly they might have minimized this pop-up window and they might have come back to this screen and they might not have found it. It would have got minimized. So tester might have felt that it is not coming up. The pop-up window is not coming up, but he did not notice the fact that it got minimized.
Yeah.
If it got minimized, does it mean that it did not come up? It did come up, but it got minimized.
Yes.
For various reasons. Then would you consider it to be a defect?
Yes.
Yes?
If there is a format defined, like whenever it is clicked, it should be coming up as.
Absolutely. But unknowingly, if the tester himself minimized it,
then it's not a defect.
Then it's not a defect, right?
Yeah.
So this is what BA will have to identify. Every single possibility. Did the tester minimize it by mistake? Okay. Or if the tester did not minimize it, but if the system automatically is minimizing it, then it's a different error. It's not that the window is not coming up. That's not the issue here, but it is getting minimized. That's the issue. So still, even in that case, the tester is raising a wrong defect, isn't it?
Yeah.
That is where a business analyst will come into picture. And also, these test cases and test scenarios, test steps, everything will be written by the tester, and that document will be sent first to the BA. BA will have to review that document. Will have to see. You have listed out. If this screen will have to be tested thoroughly, these are not the only 3 items that will have to be tested. Not just the search box, not just the compose, and not just chat. There are a lot of other things. If the screen will have to be tested thoroughly, there are a lot of other items that will have to be tested. But if you are mentioning only 3 items as a business analyst, it is my responsibility to point out that say you have only included 3. There are a lot of other stuff also. Please include all of that. That's where the business analyst will come into picture.